everybody. Today we are going to be talking about the last stage in egg processing. We've already talked about the eggs being laid, getting sent to a processing plant, getting put in the grocery store for consumers to buy, and now we're talking about what happens after you buy it. So, what we're going to be talking about today is the different ways that you can consume an egg. Um, for example, a few years ago, I decided that I did not want to cook an egg on the stove. So I decided I was going to try to cook it in the microwave. I'd seen videos of people doing this before. It seemed to be pretty easy. It only took a couple minutes. I didn't have to dirty the whole pan, get my stove all hot, have to worry about caking the egg off of the pan when I was done. So I put the egg in the microwave. And I wasn't paying attention. I left it in too long because it was the first time I'd ever done it, and I caused the egg to explode. It exploded all over my microwave, and my microwave smelled like egg for the rest of the time I had it until I got a new one. So that was the first time I'd ever done it. I've done it since then, and I've learned different ways to do it. I now know that you take the egg out every 45 seconds and you stir it so it doesn't create pressure and explode everywhere. But eggs are such a common part of the culinary arts. Eggs are used in every possible dish you can think of. Cake, um, uh, different kinds of batter for frying things. They can be their own dish for scrambled eggs or frittatas. Um, and there are many different ways to cook an egg at many different levels. You have scrambling an egg in a pan, frying it, poaching it, hard boiling it, not including when eggs are mixed into a recipe. So it's it's so common that it's important to know a skill in terms of cooking an egg. It's just a great skill to have, and so that's what we're going to be discussing today. What I'm going to have you guys do is I'm going to have you guys independently research a recipe with an egg as a main ingredient. I don't want an egg just tossed in like a cake. I want egg to be the star of the recipe. You guys will then mix your research with your own personal skills and experience to create an egg dish at your skill level. I will then want you guys to taste it or have someone else taste it, and I want you guys to reflect on the process and your results, and make plans for future adjustments for this recipe. Today's lesson is create an egg dish. Eggs are a staple in the culinary world, as we talked about. They are found in many recipes, and they can be the star of their own recipe, like scrambled eggs. Um, and there are many different ways to cook an egg at many different skill levels. And so, what I want you guys to do is, I want you to take note of your own experiences with egg dishes. And I want you to ask yourself a couple questions. Have you ever cooked an egg before? Have you ever seen someone else cook an egg, and watched them as they did it all the way through? What are some things that you're unsure about when it comes to cooking your own egg dish? Do you have any experience cooking at all? Do you have any experience cooking with eggs specifically? So I want you guys to kind of take a inventory of your own skills and experiences and kind of see if you can come up with a couple of things that you think might be lacking in these skill levels that you can maybe work on in this dish. Your task today is to create an egg-based dish based on your own culinary skill level. If you've never cooked before, maybe you just want to boil an egg. If you have had many experiences cooking in the kitchen with your mom, or if you cook by yourself, then maybe you can go a little bit more challenging and do something like a frittata. But I want it to be a dish that you've never made before, but I want it to be tailored to what you think your skill level is. Each of you will research an egg-based recipe, and I want you guys to look at the recipe. If it calls for ingredients or a technique to cook that you're not familiar with, I want you to then research that ingredient or that technique. I want you to be able to fully understand the recipe completely before you try to make it. Then I want you guys to select a recipe of an egg-based dish that you've never made before, and I want you to try to cook it. If you need parental supervision, that's fine. I want you guys to be safe. I don't want you guys to do something that could be dangerous, but I want you to try to cook this egg-based dish for the first time. You guys will then taste. Of course, it's food, so it's the best part. You got to eat your creation. And then finally, I want you guys to write a short review about your process, your creation, and I want you to write at the end some things that you would change for your next attempt. So I want you to really think about how it went, and I want you to think about what changes you would make to the recipe or to your technique. Would you leave it in the oven a little bit longer? Would you cook it less? Would you add more salt? I want you to really review your own work and come up with a list of things that you would change if you were to do this again.